All right, test, test. We are setting up for top down, top end teardown live. Let's go ahead and grab a couple more materials as we get started. Okay, set up our stopwatch. Trying to develop labor times on a lot of these jobs. Done a lot of CRF 250 and 450 top ends, valve jobs, all sorts of stuff, but never really documented the time. Just kind of make it up as I go along. Most of the time, I end up shortchanging myself, so kind of want to see exactly what it takes for me to disassemble one. Obviously, reassembling takes just as much time, and it depends if you're using OEM or aftermarket parts. The biggest thing with teardown, though, is going to be pretty much measuring and inspecting, a little bit of cleaning. Reassembly is usually pretty straightforward, especially if we're using OEM parts. Typically, I don't check OEM parts, or should I say I'll check them, but I won't measure them. Usually everything's spot on to the thousandths, sometimes to the tenth. So I'll just install them. When I use aftermarket parts, usually it costs a little bit more time and labor because there's additional steps in measuring to make sure everything fits right and everything was made correctly. And that's the reason why, OEM parts cost 2-3 times more than aftermarket parts, is because of those tolerances. So let's see. I think we'll go ahead and get this ready. I'm trying to think, what else do we need? You need a cylinder head, a valve spring removal tool or valve spring compressor tool. Let's see what else. I think that's it. And maybe a micrometer set so I can measure some pistons. These may be my veneer style calipers. See anybody hopping? What's going on, guys? Welcome to the chat. All right, hold on. We're gonna get started momentarily. Gotta go get a coffee refill. Hold on. Whoa. All right, coffee. Can't work on the engine without a full cup of coffee and a scoop of protein powder. Gotta keep the caffeine and protein content stabilized for the morning. Without enough caffeine and protein, we work a little bit slower, a little bit less precise. And we got a bunch of projects today. We'll be doing a top end teardown on a CRX90 at some point today on top of the Honda CRF250X top end teardown. Protein powder. right, let's see how far we can go. Do you like Minarelli 70cc two-strokes? You know, I've only seen them. Most of them that come through are kind of beat to crap. And those are actually really expensive engines to build. And getting parts for them are pretty hard from what I've seen. Those little Italian two-stroke motors that go on like go-pads and mini bikes and stuff like that. See what else? Two-stroke Minarelli moped similar to the Yamaha jog. Yeah, that's what I was kind of figuring. Those Minarelli motors, they usually stuff them in like little mini bikes. What else? Scooters, typically. A lot of custom applications. All right, guys. So let's get this show on the road. So I already did diagnostics on this thing. So you guys follow this channel. If you aren't, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you can stay up to date. But pretty much we already did a basic inspection on this one right here. We got 0 compression and 100% leak. It looks like the majority of that leak's coming from the intake side. So I did notice one of the intake valves didn't have any gaps. So I feel like oh, not only that too, but this has a unicam, not a dual overhead cam, but the right side intake cam completely washed out and started delaminating. So I'm thinking that intake valve is probably bent or stuck. We verified the crank to cam timing, that all checked out. Marks are spot on. We have a little bit of clearance on the exhaust and the left intake, but that right intake valve looks like it failed for whatever reason. So let's go ahead and see exactly where we're at. We're going to do a top end tear down. So tools required. Let's see. And we're going to do top end tear down. Let's see. Valve inspection. Okay. Okay. All right. Guess we could put on some new gloves. Get some new gloves going. All right, cool. Yeah, it's engine time. That's pretty good. Redline, what have I been using? Since we're on I want to try this stuff right here. Where is it at? So I usually run, what's this? Yeah, this stuff, Bellray. This is pretty cool. I like it because it's for that right there, non-power valve formula, because most of those spikes don't have power valves. So this is like perfect for, I use this and I also use Spectro, I think. Use that. And I use this stuff. This stuff right here has been really good. I like this stuff. Okay, guys. So let's get to it. All right, I think I'm zoomed out enough. All right. On your mark, get set. I don't know what I'm doing. Go. Coffee. All right. First things first. Always disconnect your battery. We're working on the top end of the bike. And disconnect that. And probably going to have to remove part of the subframe. We'll see. We'll just completely disconnect the battery. Why not? It's not going to hurt anything. Might give us a little bit of room to separate the subframe. So obviously I'll put that like that. It's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. So seat's already off. I already got the gas tank loose, so this time's not really accounting for that. So we'll pretend seat's off, air box, our gas tank. Go ahead and pull that off. Got a new storage rack I gotta set up. Okay, where are we at? All right, let's get the valve cover off. So give or take, may or may not have to clean it. It's relatively clean. So it should be pretty easy to take off. These are already loose. Normally there would be coolant to drain. Supposedly the coolant's already been drained. So this is already removed. I'll pop that off because we're working on it earlier. Okay, there's our fucked intake cam. Oh yeah. She's fucked. Okay. So I want to check, let's see. We're going to have to, we are kind of doing a carburetor job. So we're going to do two things. So labor time to get everything that taken apart. I'm pretty sure this engine bracket's going to have to come loose here. Let's pretend we're just doing a carburetor job right now. So if we're just doing a carburetor job, no, that doesn't pop off. It's not like a Yamaha. So we're going to loosen those up. 12. Oh, that was loose. Looks like somebody might have already. These are all loose. This whole bike's kind of loose. Okay. Let's pull off these shrouds right here. Ooh, gotta clean up, go through the parts. Okay. This is for our bike here. Fuck it, let's take that one off too. Okay. Take that. 12. Let's see. Yeah, because there's no way we're getting to this carburetor like that. I'm pretty sure on like most bikes you have to pull the muffler, lift the subframe, usually pull the rear shock back, disconnect the throttle cables. It's a pretty lengthy process just to get all that going. See if I can, what is that, 8, 10, 11, 12? Is that 12? Okay. It's 10. That's engine parts, we'll keep those separated. Oh, what are we missing here? So let me try taking that apart. That doesn't look right either. Oh, look at that. So it needs new muffler gaskets. Well, the tailpipe wasn't even put on all the way. It's okay. No metal, no pieces of no piston ring. Sometimes when you blow a top end, pieces of piston and piston ring will get pushed and stop right there, right where the bend is. Oh man. Okay. Okay, we'll pull that one out and should be able to get enough lift here. See if we can tie it up here, see if that works. Okay. Looks like it's fucking barely being held on. That's what that looks like. Looks like this bike was taken apart. So move that airbox hose there. So just to get to everything on this bike, it's quite a bit of work. A little bit more work than the R model, I feel like. Older ones, once you get up to like the 2005s, it's a little bit more compact. The 03, 02, and 03s are a little bit easier to work on. So this can be lifted kind of like that. Take a bungee here. Yeah, something like that. May or may not work. Let's see, can we go a little? There we go. Shouldn't be fucking anything up. Nope. Just like it was designed to. Perfect. So there's our carburetor. Anything going on with the intakes from here? No, not that I see yet. We shall find out. Okay. Oh, what is this? This is a 19. That was finger loose. Probably needs new hardware to be on the safe side. Do everything factory spec, so I can't just take out the rear shock. I just remembered. I do these right here. Oh, sweet, 1990. Yeah, I was born in 89, so that makes me about a year older. Just turned 36. 36 years young, baby. Yeah. Oh, that's why. It wasn't even fucking saying right. If it was being written like that. Okay. No, how do I do this? This? Does that work? Yeah, that's fine. All right, cool. So we're still under the notion of doing some carburetor work. We got about 13 minutes. It's probably a 3-hour job. Do a carburetor on one of these fucking things. Let's see. Clamp. So this is all loose. So in theory, we got that's fucking seized. Let's see. So we'll go ahead and loosen up that jam nut. Thread that in. I don't think this was, that doesn't look like it was put together correctly. No, this is all. Okay, so we need needs a little bit more work. Not a big deal. Let's see, I don't think, no, I think I have to, should be enough slack to pull that back. Same thing, I don't think I have to detach the throttle cables up top. We will see. Carburetor should just pull right out. Okay. Let's see, do we have enough access or we still need a, so maybe we actually have to take it out from over here. Use some angled needle nose. Oh, I'm gonna jack this bike up. Yeah. Mr. Mauer, bike is being serviced, sir. I'm gonna find out what happened. What blew up? Somebody dropped a grenade in this motherfucker. Love the graphics kit though. The aesthetics on this bike are fucking awesome. The chassis, the frames, like just looking at everything, triple trees. This bike's in really good condition. Let's see. It's like I can't really actually go up with the fender. Might have to. So I have to take it off. I'm just gonna have to work on my knees. It's kind of what I figured. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So, trying to pull off. Let's get this hot start pulled out here. Hopefully it's not too tight. Is it 12 or 14? Always forget. 14? It's like you need a special wrench. Or am I going to have to take off the cables? Might have to take off the cables to actually get this one out. Let's see if we can do this. Okay. Should kind of give us enough access to it. Let's see. Bam, just like that. Hit it with the 14. And probably have to finger it. Build those finger skills. Yeah, compound finger movements. Sometimes if you pull out this little boot here, kind of helps. Pull this little boot. Okay. Makes it a little bit easier to take off the plastic threaded portion of the hot start plunger. Just kind of get it off my hand. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and remove this for right meow. Can I remove it? Yeah. We'll just get this out of the way. We'll come back to it when we need to. Okay, so still on carburetor time, 20 minutes. So I should be able to get it out at this point, I think. I wonder still. You know what? Probably a little bit easier. Just take off the freaking throttle housing. All these FCR, the way, even on these older bikes, the mid 2000s here, they started to get so, you know, technology started to get us pretty compact on everything. That's not opening, exposed. All right, cool. Why does that look like it's fucking seized in there? What's going on with this throttle? Gotta loosen up those jam nuts a little bit. Is that what's going on? Oh, this housing here. Usually you don't. I thought you didn't have to fully unthread it. I thought you could just take it apart like that. I'm mistaken. Usually it's not that hard. Usually it kind of slips right off. Well, it's a little bit too much tension on the throttle cable still. A little bit of wear to the plastic guide. These are super gritty. Yeah, it was screwed all the way in and still didn't want to come off. Usually that'll should put like enough slack in it. It's dirty. Probably clean the throttle housing. Okay, recommendation on that. Okay, so now with enough room here, should be fine. A little bit of extra room. Okay. Let's see. Well, do I have to completely take off the rear shock? Thought I could just hold on. It's the fucking air. Is the emission system in the way? No, I should be able to sneak it around the emissions right there. Or is that the difference between the R model and the X model? X model requires just a little bit more finessing, maybe. Take off that roller right there. Would that? I took off that roller. I wonder if that would help make a difference. Let's see. And what did I do with the 10 millimeter open end wrench? Oh, there it is. So let's see. We're rebuilding the top end on this Honda. I want to say rebuilding just yet, but we're doing a top end disassembly and inspection. Okay, so I mean, technically, would I need to pull the carburetor out completely? I mean, I'm going to say with most top end jobs, I always recommend carburetor work. Come on. There we go. It's a tight fit. Okay. What are the hoses? Oh, that's what I forgot. The GPS sensor is right here. Go ahead and disconnect that one. Okay. So any more of that? No. Okay. Stick that fucker like that. Okay. See, I think it's a 4mm. What does this say? 4. Oh, it's tight. So hit it with the little guy. Okay. I mean, fuck it. At this point, I'm wondering if it would just be better to pull the whole, just pull the whole fucking throttle cables through. Might as well. I mean, I'm probably gonna have to obviously disconnect it for a carburetor cleaning service, but I'm just trying to figure out different methods, you know. Get a top end every now and then on this particular model. Yeah, let's just do that. Fuck it. It goes right there. Leave that so you remember. Okay, so bam, carburetor removal. Stop. Say 29 minutes. Should I do it faster? Yeah, pretty sure I could get down to like, 20, 25 minutes. Doing a little bit quicker, but I've been kind of just like doing all the different bikes that I work on. A lot of different models, Raptors, Yamahas, CRXs, ATVs. Now we're doing, yeah. Okay. So that's the thing. I didn't like this lapping. So technically, I mean, doing a top end, you're going to want to pull the carburetor out. You're going to need access to get around everything. So kind of makes sense. Okay, next step, get the stopwatch going. I think we're going to try to, coolant's already supposedly been drained, but we'll include that in the time. Zoom. So coolant is typically going to be a, I think it's like an 8mm if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, water pump side right there. Okay. And already have 8mm set up. Kind of drain whatever little bit of residual coolant's left. All right, we're gonna have to take off this header here. I think that's a 12mm. See if I can get it with the extension. Okay, now this is what we'll do. Eh. Slag on the weld there. Careful, doesn't pitch the frame. Okay, header time. Let's see, looks like I need a little bit more extension. Yeah. I think I need some more lube. Starting to run low on lube. Okay. These are pretty loose. It's like this whole bike's been taken apart already. Okay. It's pretty. Oh no. Oh. It's like confetti. These can go in there. That's frame. This is starting to become engine. Let's see, we got room for our header right here. Man, look at that. Slipped it in. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and take off these motor mounts. Looks like a 12 and a 14. Okay. No, don't got a 14. Bam, right here. So not this one. Go with this. And one of these instead. Oh, this is like super fucking loose. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I wonder. I have a feeling somebody was trying to take the motor apart before I got to it. Is there a little bit of tension on that? What's going on? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. What else? So header off. Let's see, probably that emission. You got to take off that coolant pipe there. Be easier to pull off the coolant pipe, it looks like, than the fitting. You could always come back to it, but usually we want to check those out. Do we want to? I mean, if it's not leaking, that's another job. So this engine right here, design, we'll just go ahead and take this off. See if anything comes out. Bunch of metal shavings coming out of the coolant port here. Let's see. Okay, this radiator's pretty bent. Okay, so we can go back to pretty much everything's off. I'm thinking this purge valve here probably be easier to take off this purge valve. Yes and no. I'm gonna say yes. Somebody already tried taking all this shit off right here. We'll take it's like an air injection system, AIS. At least that's what Yamaha calls it. I'm not sure what Honda calls theirs. It's basically an emissions thing though. It injects cold air into the exhaust port. That helps lean out the mixture. Usually if you want a little bit more power, you basically remove this, get rid of all that, and you put a plug in there. That's a modification. So let's see how easily I can remove this. It looks like the purge solenoid is a 10 millimeter. So definitely the emissions model's a little bit more work than the race model, and that was to be expected. So might have to, reflect, how do I say, every bike's just a little bit different, especially as they get older. It's a lot different when the engine's still in the chassis. Probably gonna need 1/4-inch drive stuff for this. Let's see here. 10. Let's see where I put that here. Let's see. I just remove this whole bracket, it looks like, actually. No, fuck that. Let's do that. Let's move this switch out of the way. That looks easier. Ooh. So you notice different things as you start working on it. So I get it. Oh, the bracket was all attached. That's okay. Make that line right there. Air hose. So that right there is loose now. What else? So just wires? Is it these other connectors? This hose, let's see, take that off. Okay. So with the exception of this connectors, probably just let that dangle like that. Let's get that hose off right there. Basically takes cooler air from the intake and injects it into the exhaust. Okay. All right, now what? I don't know. Let's go ahead and double check the timing. So let's pretend we're working on a bike. Do I have to take out this fucking starter motor in order to, maybe that's why they were taking all that off right there. So deeper I'm getting into this bike, realizing I might have slightly misquoted, but that's why I like to give estimates. Typically don't give quotes, especially on major services like this. Let's see. This thing is going to need a lot of fucking work though. You got to replace that or that's going to leak. All right, so I think I was going with the, so I don't assume the engine's in top dead center, which to make this more realistic, it's probably not going to be in top dead center. This would have not have been finger loose. Okay, so there's a spark plug in it. Oh, sounds horrible. Well, spark plug's in it, but it doesn't matter. We have zero compression, so even with the spark plug in it, it's not like it's slowing us down. Okay. Pretending like I know what I'm doing. All right. So, oh. Okay, just flung over to top dead center, I believe. No, not at top dead center. Oh, looks like the interesting. I believe we're at top dead center. It's rotated around. I could have sworn I could get a feeler gauge underneath there. It looks a lot tighter than what it would normally be. Let's go ahead and spin this over again. Oh, kind of past it. Okay, check timing marks. Yeah, looks good. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Engine's at top dead center. Let's see if we can. Let's see. One of these right here. Yeah, I'm thinking this thing's going to be a full engine rebuild just by the way it's cranking over. I mean, it could be cams for sure, but I feel like it's probably time for a new motor. Customers said they don't want their bike back all disassembled. So I feel like definitely not the first mechanic they've spoken to, because it's probably been mentioned to them that you know, in order to proceed, you must tear down the engine. Oh, look at that. Forgot about that. Are those extra holes? All right, cool. Okay, leaking a little bit of oil, that's fine. Okay, cam chain window. Looks like that was put upside down. Usually put them like that. Somebody's definitely been in this engine. It wasn't fucking me. Somebody though. Alright, time for the fun part. Engine's gonna start coming apart. Let's see if we can find a box for this right here. Let's see. Put that in that box. Oh no. Okay, so cam chain is loose, motor's at top dead center. Let's go ahead and crack those. That's gonna be a 10 millimeter. And the 10 millimeter has left the chat. Fuck did the 10 millimeter go? Son of a bitch. It's right here. All right. Torque feels okay, maybe a little, I don't know, a little tighter. Okay. Okay, grab the retainer. It goes in there something like that. There we go. Oh, that feels a little tight. Oh no. Just dropped the retainer into the case. My biggest fears. Whew. So they say stick a rag in it. We don't do that kind of shit here. All right, cool. So Can I take this out? I thought I could take this out. You slide this bearing over and boom, like that. I got pieces of metal falling into the case. Hold on. There we go. So thought I dropped that behind there. Okay. This cam right here is fucked. Oh, and that lifter looks fucked too. Oh, this fucking head is junk. Pretty sure it's junk. Look at that lifter. So that intake cam and the exhaust cam, it's pretty bad. Original cam. That loop's fucked. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and take it off. So next step is going to be, now that we got the cam out, let's go ahead and let's see, can we loosen these up? No? These are special. Ooh. Damn. Okay. Let's see now, can I reach? Nope. Trying to use power tools. Takes forever to use regular tools sometimes. Just shitty angles. Yeah, Cam's definitely on its way out. Cam has just shy of left the chat. The cam has clocked out and said basically, fuck you, I am going home. And let's see, so we got two there. So we're gonna go ahead and break these off in a crisscross pattern. So I think, are those 12s or 14s? That's a 17. Thought we had a 14 already out. Yeah, so those aren't gonna fit. I need my, oh fuck. I don't use this one all that often. What is this? Oh, that's a 13. Should have a 12 or a 14. What is this? Here it is, Snap-on 14. Specifically for taking off cylinder head bolts. Okay. Let's see, before I rip it off, am I missing anything? I think that should take off the cylinder head. Yeah, fuck it. Let's fucking fuck it. Hold on, come from this side, see if I get a better angle here. probably a small extension. Okay. Now, I wonder if I can just buzz these out, kind of. Let me see if I can put this one right here. There we go. So let's try that. It's almost time for another coffee break. Okay. Okay. Cam chain out. Okay. Might need that. Let's see. Oh no. All right. Will it come out? Can it be serviced? Squeeze that there. Cam chain. Gotta pull the cam chain out. Probably hold it just the right so it can allow the guide to go back in. I'm kind of hanging up on these hoses here. There we go. That out of the way. Got a little retaining bracket right there. Don't want to lose that. And my we got a zip tie right there. Okay, so now oh, that's a good sign. At least that one fell out. that one. So that's why, yeah, that's why I wasn't getting anything. This lifter is completely seized in the head. Look at that. So this thing needs, it's pretty fucked. It's definitely going to need a new cylinder head for sure. But let's do our due diligence. So let's see. Top end, stop 1 hour and 1 minute. Top end disassembly to crank. So that's 1 hour. Yeah, it should only take a couple more seconds. So zoom. Okay. Okay. So will the cylinder just slip off? Don't want to lose these dowels. There we go. Okay. Looks like is that a sign of rupture right there? Right there. Wonder if the head gasket was starting to go on the intake side. It's probably getting really hot. Pretty common, you'll see that. Wherever it'll start to get blue, depending on how long it was ran for. This comes off. Take a look. Still see the crosshatch. That's kind of interesting. Let's see. Start to get hot. This piston's a little dirty. Not a big deal. What's the cylinder look like? So the best way usually is to measure, but looks like the cylinder was reworked recently. Somebody try honing this out themselves. It looks like somebody tried honing it. That looks like a deep hone right there. That's like super deep. Where it is. So should be a Nicosil plated cylinder. Oh. Interesting. That cross hatching looks super deep. What's your guys' opinion on that? That looks a little deep for Nicosil. I'm kind of curious who did that. That looks uneven. That looks like way too. Yeah, this is a 4-stroke. Nah, this cylinder. Look at those lines in it. It's like somebody used like fucking 20 grit. Somebody used a master cylinder hone on this. I don't know. Might have to send a picture and see if I can get a second opinion, but that right there looks a little too thick for me. But you know, measure it and see where it's at. I guess we can measure the piston. But first, let's go ahead and get this piston out. So since we're not necessarily doing a teardown just yet, kind of put that like that. Okay. Okay. So probably. Let's see. So this is the most important factor right here. It's the wrist pin scoring. If the wrist pin has any scoring on it, that typically indicates the connecting rod's going to be fucked. And if the connecting rod's fucked, you got to do a full engine rebuild. So take a look. Couple measurements. It looks kind of fucked. Just, oh no, I wouldn't necessarily say fucked, but is it fucked? I don't know. I see a little bit of wear right there. Pretty, yeah, that's pretty good wear on the connecting rod. It's not horrible, like it was about to come apart, but I'm pretty sure if I measure it, that's gonna be out of spec. So that wear right there, that's gonna create some excessive clearance on the wrist pin. And that piston's gonna be all over the place. Could it clean up? Yeah. I mean, best thing to do, measure it. Yeah, just do a complete rebuild, right? That's the, I mean, you can measure it, but just eyeball measuring it. I mean, somebody who knows, you can kind of see, look at the formation of the journal. Look, it's not really smooth and polished. It's like ripply. It was starting to get minor scoring. You got, look at that right there. Anybody who's rebuilt an engine, yeah, you can measure it. It's probably, a couple thousandths out of spec. But if we're going to put a brand new cylinder, brand new piston, brand new cylinder, and put it on a connecting rod, the only way is if we're really trying to save money. And I make no guarantee because I've seen too many engines, especially on something that has a bad top end like this. We'll go ahead and put new piston, new cylinder head, valves, and then all of a sudden the fucking connecting rod goes, and now we're looking at a whole new motor again. Overheated, yeah. Just do a complete rebuild. Overheated. A lot of money now. And yeah, it's come completely. Well, yeah, now it's, I mean, to be realistic, this cylinder, we need a new cylinder head because that's, that's fucked right there. This lifter, see if I can even get that lifter out. That's the main thing. Do I want to measure that? I mean, I guess we could measure it. We can measure it, and then I gotta go get my bore gauge and go get some measuring equipment. And yeah, so we'll stop it. That includes our basic inspection right there. So hour and 10, 11 minutes to basically tear, let's say an hour and 10 minutes to tear down to the crank without measuring. uh, Top end, let's see. So this is how I could do it. Usually, like, say if we're going to do a full engine rebuild and customer already knows, yeah, I'm willing to dump a couple thousand to rebuilding the engine. You know, it's not really any point of wasting my time. We're going to save on labor and put that labor into parts instead of me having to inspect it. We can just, based on my experience, just look at it and know from enough engine rebuilds that, having, is it acceptable? Will it work? Yeah, it'll work. Will it last a long time? Is it going to be, is it OEM spec? Fuck no. You can visibly see the wear on the lower end of the connecting rod there. And that journal is, you put a new wrist pin, it's going to create it's going to create a little bit of chatter, and it's going to start to score. So we got to pause here. Yeah, I can cut corners if I wanted to. I mean, we could. I mean, sometimes we do that for customers. I get it. People want to ride a bike, and, new bikes like 10 to 12 grand plus financing. You can buy somebody else's used bike. Or, if your bike has sentimental value, the chassis is clean. That's the biggest thing is, like, usually if the chassis is clean, everything's nice, but it's just motor work, that's when it's typically worth doing. If this bike was super clapped out, had electrical problems, plastics are all fucked up, suspension, handlebars, fenders, swing arm, then it's like, okay, you're looking at a restoration. It's going to cost, probably damn near close to what a brand new one would cost sometimes, depending on, how much you want to invest. Could be a couple grand in parts and labor. This one right here, really no chassis work, mainly tune up. We'll see if the customer wants to, replace a little bit of the Mickey Mouse stuff and do it correctly, but mainly probably full engine rebuild, carburetor work. Probably put some coolant in it. Air filter looks okay. Looks a little dry. Clean the air box. Looks like it was written in the sand. So definitely could use a full tune-up, carburetor rebuild, full engine rebuild. Pretty much that's it. Let's go ahead and text it. Let's see if I'm going to go ahead and shoot the customer a text. Hold on really quick. Hopefully this doesn't lag the chat. Yeah, Danny Wortman, what kind of racing do you do? I just send the customer like a message, just let them know things should rebuild will likely non-racing. Yeah, no, completely. Yeah, well, yeah, if they're not racing it, and changing the oil every couple hours, doing those valve inspections like you're supposed to, should be good. Fuck, I got out of the thing and dropped the whole chat. My bad, guys, my bad. Okay, so let's see here. Do we even want to do a full disassembly and measuring? I mean, we should probably know. So what it takes, about an hour and 10 minutes. I would say probably like an hour and a half with, actually draining the oil and the coolant and stuff like that. Um, let's see, I kind of do want to measure some stuff. So got about hour, 10 minutes at this point. It's probably safe to say it needs a full engine rebuild. Let's see. It's gas right there. Let's go ahead and check the side clearances, see if we kind of eyeball those a little bit. So a little short rod. Sick. Yeah, it's definitely quick when you've done a lot of these right here, but I see some up and down movement just a little bit, just a cunt here. Has a little bit of side to side play. Thrush washers are still in there, so that's good. Sometimes those thrush washers will come apart. The lower end side of the connecting rod will start to wear on those thrush washers, start to mushroom and smear. Oof. Can we go a little bit further? And I don't know. Connecting rod definitely has that wear on it. I'm not well on the upper part of the connecting rod. See if I can use my yeah, it's through the look at that. Hold on. Ugh, shit, trying to do it for the YouTube guys. I'm sorry. It's kind of hard sometimes. Fuck am I? Here's my finger. That looks pretty fucked to me. Pretty sure that's not dirt either. Oh yeah, the rod overheated. Oh yeah, it's like worn in multiple sections. The camera doesn't do justice, but see, you can see it's like, look at that, it's worn in multiple sections. Look at that. Look at that one on the top. Definitely needs a new connecting rod. I mean, if this was a race motor, the crank was good. Next step would be disassemble the motor, check out the crank. I mean, it's usually on the bottom end, it's supposed to be like 3 to 6 thousandths typically, or maybe like I think it's like under 10 thousandths. It depends on the bike, but it's supposed to be minimal side to side play. I'm pretty sure we're way over that. That's like 10, 15, probably 20. Yeah, it definitely does take a lot of money to have fun. That's a little, I don't like that lateral play there. How does the pin fit? It fits pretty smooth, to be honest. I mean, not gonna lie, I've definitely rebuilt a lot of top ends with bottom ends probably in worse condition, um, or pretty close or borderline. That's a nice slide fit. It has some up and down movement though. Self clearance, so this it has too much play. I mean, if I can move it like that on my fingers, that means that fucking piston's gonna be fucking bouncing around there. Okay, so yeah, that's definitely that. I'm thinking what I kind of want to go a little bit further. I mean, at this point, just from looking at the this head is not going to be reserviceable. The cylinder head's going to have to be replaced. Let's see, let's put a little bit. A little bit more time on the clock. It came out not too hard. It's fuck though. Is that shim stuck in there? Oh, it came out. See what the valves look like. I mean, we're going to need to replace this cylinder head anyways. You can't. This bore right here in the cylinder head, it's one piece casted. It's essentially the cylinder and what guides the lifter here. So if this bore inside the cylinder head gets all jacked up, then once this happens to the lifter, pretty much you need a new cylinder head. It's a non-replaceable part, non-serviceable. Once it gets to that condition, it's kaputs. You're gonna need obviously a new cylinder head. It comes with, you're gonna need to get new valves, new springs, retainers. It will come with the guides. Usually the rocker arm here on the exhaust side, the pin, this right here is all brand new. It might come with the pin part of the assembly, but I think this is separate. May come with it, may not. Typically it comes with nothing. It's just a bare motor. Lifters and everything are separate, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, journals are worn, low oil. That's what I'm thinking. I think this thing was ran low on oil. Usually, all the motors I've ever worked on, this doesn't usually. Usually they don't. This never happens unless somebody. Look at that. It's pretty scored. So either somebody took this motor, tried doing some servicing on their own and fucked it up, which I see that a lot. People try to do their own valve adjustments. That's what I was kind of thinking. Maybe somebody tried doing their own valve adjustment and didn't put it together correctly. But just from, taking it apart, looking at it, there's no shavings in the oil. I didn't drain the engine oil, but also from seeing the transmission oil is completely burnt, smells like crap. I'm probably going to, if we're just going to stick with the top end, I'd also recommend an additional inspection on the transmission side. Check out the primary drive gear and the clutch basket and all those components in there. They'll kind of give us a better idea too. We could even go further and pull this off. But once you start getting to that point, you might as well pull out the engine and do a full rebuild. So yeah, I think, let's see, we got enough battery juice. Kind of want to see, maybe we can take some measurements here. I need to go fill up my coffee. And let's see, we're going to need a spring compressor. Do I even want to do a spring compressor? Maybe I can pretend this is a good bike still. Say I was going to do a valve. Say I needed to do, well, I could do a valve adjustment without having to take this off. Say I was going to do full valve, like say the cylinder head was good. If the cylinder head was good, then I would be basically proceeding forward with this right here. This thing is fucking seasoned. Look at that, started to get hot. Oh, that's completely seized. This thing was ran low on fucking oil. This thing was ran without any oil in it. That's completely fucking seized. Yeah. I want a new engine rebuilder. Pick up your box and pick up your bike in a box. I can't put my name on this one. This one right here is usually on, like, maybe lower compression bikes, maybe some 9, 10 to 1s. Once you start to get 11 over 1, and you just want to do the top end on it, usually those bottom ends go, and I don't want to put a sticker. Quantum Motor Works did a fucking top end on my bike and it blew up. Yeah, we got a lot of bluing, metal shavings, parts, things coming apart. Yeah, let's take a look at that exhaust cam one more time before we go grab some tools. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, look, we're missing. Look at the difference in lobe height. This thing must have been running for a while like that until it lost compression. I mean, somebody tell me, do I need to measure the lobes? Do I need to measure the lobes, or can we make a determination that valve height, or yeah, what would you call that? Valve height, or valve lift has been shortened? At least on that lobe right there. Needs everything. Oh man. Yeah, the cylinder here. So what do you guys think about this cylinder? I've done a lot of honing. I do ball honing, and I know what the cylinders look like when I get them back from the machine shop. What do you guys think of the hone on that? I can't necessarily. I mean, I can actually, yeah, I can feel it. It's like smooth where the piston rings were riding. It's like it kind of started to get smoothened out. But down here, I can feel that's like fucking. It's like ridges. So sometimes too, you'll see a little bit of piston walk. You'll start seeing piston rings. Like in this section, it's been honed out pretty good. So whatever evidence was there has been erased at this point. Yeah, because it's honed through that. So somebody recently tried. Somebody recently tried doing something to this engine, is what it looks like. Somebody did like a Mickey Mouse top end job, or did ran. I feel like there's multiple things. I feel like this bike had a recent top end job. Somebody tried doing a valve adjustment and it was ran low on oil all at the same time, or within like a short time span of this bike coming to me. Yeah. Whew. Let's go. Let's go grab some tools really quick, and I need some coffee. Probably a coffee and another Zim. We'll pause the clock. What was that for? 8 minutes for what? Removing that. We're gonna have to bundle that. Okay, BRB. I need some more coffee. Holy shit. All right, there's like $1,000 in tools right here. Check some shit. Oh. Okay, well, what are we gonna work on? Let's see. Let's check cylinder bore. Mark, get set, go. Cylinder bore. No, do I charge for... We don't do fucking engine rebuilds all the time like this, but sometimes I like to check. It's been a while. I think everything should be set up here. I forget, do I even need this? I forget how the fuck this thing goes. It's been a while. So this goes like that. Very carefully. Let's see, where are we at? We're roughly... eyeball. Nope, not enough. Oops. Maybe like 2 more lengths. Yeah, I like this tool too. It's pretty cool for getting accurate cylinder measurements. Let's see, is that too much or too little? Too much. Okay. Oh no. So I guess I have to use that one. Hopefully I don't have, or actually no. Because that's going to be too long. I gotta shim it. Let's see. Okay. Nope. It's not hair off, so okay. Let's do this one. Oh, I'm gonna do a little half-ass clean right here. Good enough. Enough for the bikes that I work on. Oh, look at that fucking crosshatch, man. That's fucking amazing. Honda himself would be proud. Okay. fuck it, I'll just chuck it up. How about that? Damn. Okay. Gotta be careful. Got my needle. Okay, so. Okay. It's like 2/10. That's fine. Same thing, 2/10. Go a little bit lower. Technically, it looks pretty. Doesn't look like it's out of round just yet. Interesting. Yeah. Huh. Okay, so what is that telling me? I don't know what that tells me. So without knowing the actual cylinder spec, I'll have to look that up. This one. This one. I think this might be too big actually, or too small, should I say? This one. See if I can figure this out. Yeah, anvils feel clean enough. Now let's start squeezing. Oh, slippery. Yep, it's the 10th. Maybe just a little over like 1 or 2 tenths. Okay, so what are we? This is 3 to 4. So what are we? 3 inches. I forget. 10. What is that? 25, 50, 75. So 22. That would be 75 minus. So 74, 73, 72, 71, 71 and 8 tenths. Okay, let me just make a little note here. So I think if I have that right, 3 inches. Yeah, 3 inches and 71 thousandths and 8 tenths. So that's what I got on the cylinder right now. So that'd be 200. It goes 3 to 4. So I have to check the spec and see. I'm pretty sure we're like, right. From what I could see on the gauge, it was only fluctuating like 2, 3 tenths of 1,000. So, the spec is usually like 1.5 thousandths tolerance, no more than two. Once it's like 2.5 thousandths over, it's pretty much scrap. But I've seen them go like 5, 6 thousandths, a little bit more slop in it, a little bit less compression, but nonetheless, bike still works. So we'll stop that right there. So say like 20 minutes for checking, probably. Make a note of that. What else? What else do I want to check? You can measure the piston too. See what our piston to cylinder clearance is. Never hurts to check that and see where we're at. So go ahead and check on the skirts. Feels pretty good right there. So we are at 3 inches. What is that? 20, 50. So same thing, 75. So it's just a little under. We're at what? 20 thousandths. 2050. So 70 and 5 tenths. So I don't know. That's actually looks like it's pretty fucking in spec, like new. So what the fuck? Did somebody? What's going on here? What happened? Something fucked up, or is this just as simple as operator error? Because I mean, a little bit of wear on the skirts, nothing too crazy. Right where I measured. I mean, this is a good piston. Ooh. So I mean, this is where I start to get to like I'll measure stuff and I'll be like, oh wow, like it's like right at it's on the large side usually. Like I said, I think like max is like 2.5 thousand. So we're like what 1 and 3 tenths right there. So it's like you got about one more thousandths. You got about one more thousandths of clearance before technically it's out of spec or whatever. But that's one thing, that those measurements and clearances. The main issue is going to be this connecting rod here. Another test too is just kind of like playing with the rod, going back and forth. checking like see if it sticks or anything like that, on top. Another thing too I like to do, usually I'll go ahead and rotate the engine over and kind of check it when it's at bottom dead center, because you'll have like a different wear contact pattern. I don't like how that feels in that position right there. I feel like it starts to get a little sticky in that position. But yeah, there's a way you can basically you rotate the engine, over pistons at bottom dead center. It's going to be a different surface area of the bearing of the journals, the crank pin. So if those are worn out, you'll have a little bit different slop in it. And yeah, hmm, determination. Yeah, I'm going to say we're going to go ahead and take a break. Go ahead and see what the owner of the bike would like to do, and put this on standby right now. It's it's kind of one of those things. It looks like it was ran low on oil parts. I mean, so far, piston looks okay. I'm kind of curious about if any top end work was done. I don't know. It's kind of hard to almost believe that this is the original cylinder with factory cross hatching. I don't know. I mean, it's very possible, but I don't I don't think so. It's very possible though. I don't know. Usually the factory cross hatching isn't that aggressive from what I've seen. I don't know. It's kind of, and just how that lip is right here. I feel like this cross hatching was done like afterwards. Yeah, gearbox. Well, I don't know if the gearbox ran out of oil. It was pretty, there was some oil in it, but it smelled horrible. Gearbox oil smelt, smells like the best way to put it. It smells like a cigar, like a Cuban cigar almost, like a good one. I was kind of tripping out. I'm like, huh, who's been smoking in here? I don't smoke. Yeah, there we go. Price of a new complete motor. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Clutch is toast, more than likely. Clutches for sure. I mean, I kind of want to, give another price, but I figured if the bottom end was no good, um, we're gonna have to look at the transmission anyways, and we'll just have to see. I mean, it probably needs a new clutch. We could check the clutch basket dogs and see, see if there's any major wear to them. If it requires a new clutch basket, new plates, steels, fiber, springs. We'll see. I need to basically maybe look it up now at this point. I'm thinking like next step though would be tear it apart and see how much damage there is, how much wear and tear, or just, fuck it. See, I don't know. The only thing I'd hate to do is we do absolutely need a new cylinder head. This bike isn't running without a cylinder head. Uh, and I don't know if it's worth throwing all that money into this bike without doing the bottom end. That's what I always tell customers. I wouldn't want to do it myself, not unless I felt comfortable with tearing apart the motor, and a limited amount of hours. I'm probably not going to get the full amount of hours that this engine would be rated for if I put a new top end on a worn out bottom end. So yeah, we would more than likely install a new crank. Probably put like a full Wiseco rebuild in it. Usually that's going to be the most like cost effective. There's some other crankshaft options, a little bit more pricey if you want to like do it individually, but like an out of the box kit, so you could get this thing done in like a weekend. With the exception of this cylinder head here, this is a whole different animal. That's assuming that your cylinder head's still good, or maybe you're sending it out to the machine shop, but this one's fucked. Hmm. Oh no, I got some coffee on my lifters. Yeah. Alrighty, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna go take that break and see what the customer wants to do. Maybe I kind of want to. I'm gonna time myself and pulling out the valves here just to see, get an idea how much time pull out valves. Usually it's about the same. Or usually take them out, check, disassemble the head as far as the valves, and check them myself, see how much wear there is, if it warrants, new valves, or getting a new cylinder head, sending out to the machine shop so they can put new valves, cut the seats. In this case right here, it's just gonna be better to replace it, put new valves. So that's already a pretty penny of labor plus machine work. Well, no, if we put a new head, that's the cool thing. If we put new head, new valves, don't need new seats. The seat angle and valve angle are ground to spec precisely from the factory. So if you use brand new OEM parts, there is typically no machine work. It'll just be a little bit, extra on my end for labor because they do need to be assembled. They don't typically come assembled from the factory. It'll be a blank cylinder head, and then you'll install all those parts. Comes with guides, the seats installed, obviously, but the springs, the retainers, um, the valve, I don't know what you call it, goes against just the washers, I guess, spring washers, all those parts, you install them and then put your new cam in. We're going to need a new cam. Who knows? Maybe the customer wants to do something cool and put like a stage one hot cams in it. Maybe not, though. It does have the stock exhaust system and really a hot cams. This is an X model, so I think the cam on it's a little bit, probably gonna be tuned a little bit differently than the the R model, of course. So it depends, keep this thing kind of mildly tuned for the trails, or now that we're going to do a open up the motor, do we want to do something, do something spicy, fancy, put a, could always put a high compression piston in it, put different valves in it. There's usually some of the options too. Usually I forget, I think these are titanium valves. I think these are titanium, if I'm not mistaken. And people usually put stainless steel on the exhaust. I think if it's the exhaust or the intake, or both actually, put stainless steel valves. They're a little bit slower, but they last a lot longer. You can take that heat, they can take the abuse, they can take the slamming, hammering effect a lot better than the titanium. If you're just doing basic trail running, if you're racing, obviously they have like 3 angle, 5 angle cuts, for better airflow. But on a trail bike, it's not really warranted. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. Yeah, I think it's a lack of lubrication. The biggest thing I see on these bikes is people typically mix up the oil, the engine oil and transmission oil, and then either I've seen them smoke the gearbox on these things, I've seen them smoke the bottom ends, top ends, I've seen them smoke the whole motor where it just absolutely needs a new motor. Um, yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel bad for the customer because it's never like you want to just get it done. Make my money, of course, but when you hit them with hey, you need a new rebuild, and people think it's a small motor, it's a small bike, but the parts on these things are astronomical, especially if we want OEM parts. The amount of abuse this little itty bitty piston with these little 1.5 inch wide skirts here, it's probably putting out like 35, 38 horsepower or something like that. Little 250, and a 200-pound motorcycle with a 200-pound rider. So this little piston right here needs to push 400 pounds of weight, accelerate it, not just push it. And so does that crankshaft and that little connecting rod right there. So a little connecting rod doesn't have a lot of torque. It's a short throw, so it's going to be made for higher horsepower, quicker revolutions. Um, a lot different. So the parts on these bikes here, a lot of engineering, a lot of design, casting. This is a Honda. This is an OEM piston right here. That's a HF3, and Honda uses pretty cool technology. This is high pressure sand casting. They don't use this. This isn't a billet. This is a high pressure sand casted piston right here. Now, obviously, it's machined, but this technology is, for mass production, really can't beat it. And a lot of the Japanese manufacturers do use the same technology. Pretty good stuff. Yeah, a few thousand for sure. Definitely. I mean, just the cylinder head itself. I think usually they're around $1,000, not including value. You could have like $1,500 into the head for something basic. You want to get fancy, it's different machine work, different features. You could have like 2, 3 grand into a cylinder head. You could have more. If it was like a 4 cylinder bike, you could have you have 10 grand into a cylinder head to do something high performance. But yeah, even doing a stock build, super pricey. Yeah, let's see. I think we're gonna take a break. I've been saying that now. I'm almost out of coffee. I want to see what the customer wants to do with it. Uh, and I have another top end. We got another bike we're gonna tear down into. We're gonna do a TRX 90 top end. See what's going on. Hopefully, it's nothing too crazy, but I have a feeling we got bent valves or a sandblasted piston or cylinder walls sand washed from sucking in dirt or debris. We'll see if we'll go ahead and make a video about that later. Do kind of want to pull out the valves on this bike, but yeah, we got enough time into it right now. So, yep, if you guys just found this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click the bell notification, stay up to date on my latest videos. Sometimes we do multiple videos a day. All depends on the projects that we get and what the customer authorizes as far as what we'll do. Cooler bikes typically get more attention, like this clean as fuck 2005 Honda CRF 250X, and it's also a pretty cool job. We're doing a top end assembly with some precision measuring, basic precision measuring. Get a ballpark, professionally inspecting the motor to generate a generate an expectation as far as can we get away with this or that, or does it warrant a full engine rebuild? What's the risk, what's the liability, what's the expectation of the rider, pretty much. So a lot of factors. It's not just replacing parts or building an engine. There's a lot of thinking and thought that goes, a lot of thinking, thought, and money that goes into it. And disassembly is always easy. As you guys saw, it's pretty quick to do a basic inspection, tear down. I got about an hour instead of the diag, about an hour and a half into tear down and basic measuring and inspection. So we got about 2.5 to 3 hours into this bike, which is pretty solid for a professional mechanic or somebody who's well tuned or experienced with these platforms here. If the customer authorizes, we're going to go ahead and tear out the motor and then basically split that thing down to the crankshaft. And sometimes you can leave the cassette, the gearbox, and the cases. Maybe leave one half of the crank inside, pull off the other half. It all depends. Or you just split the whole thing, like a puzzle. But basically, I'm pretty sure we're going to find out bottom end bearings are probably gritty, just from how it was cycling. Felt super gritty. From checking out the piston and measuring, I mean, that grittiness could have just been carbon on the rings on the cylinder walls, even though there isn't any scoring or metal transfer. I was thinking it could have been the piston seizing, but after measuring, everything looks okay. So I'm thinking for sure it's bottom end. Something's starting to seize up. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and yeah, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and stay tuned for the next one. Yeah, pockets got to go deep for this hobby here. It's a pricey hobby for parts and labor to make bikes pretty and run nice and turn on without having to use the choke. All right, guys, appreciate all the support, and we shall be back. Thanks for watching.